Travis Wayne Goodsell. Before the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I did videos talking about the importance of investigation of a crime scene, because the assassination of Joseph Smith was a crime scene. It needs to be properly investigated, and it wasn't. And so you have to go back to the origins to see how it led up to the event, and then not just the event itself and all of the evidence at the crime scene, but then you keep on going to see the results after the event. Follow the money. What do the perpetrators do? Do they try to flee the country? Do they get paid? Does somebody get a promotion? These are the things you need to pay attention to. And when it's a conspiracy of more than one person committing a crime, yeah, you've got a number of different leads to follow through the whole process. And as an investigator, if you don't know who done it, you have to investigate to find out who done it, and then find out their history and what led to it, and the person who was a victim, find out who they were, what led to them being there at that particular moment, hoping that you can find out who may have done it, and then follow what happened after to run the test to see if they actually are the perpetrators of the event, and matching the forensic evidence at the crime scene. So it is quite a detailed process, the more conspiratorial it becomes. And so nobody did it with Joseph Smith except for me. I did it. So when Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, I'm able to demonstrate for you how our police, FBI, governor, all dropped the ball. They first arrested a Toronto man, assuming he did it. Then after an interview, they realized, oh crap, he didn't do it. And so, going over the cell phone videos, they saw somebody on a roof over in that direction from Charlie Kirk, who got shot through the neck from that direction. Tyler, I believe is his name, Robinson, was there. And he does not have a rifle, not on any of the video camera footage of him, going up the stairs to the roof, no rifle, running from the roof on the ground, no rifle, that suddenly appeared in the forest for them to find when they did a search. And apparently the ammo had carvings on it. That was all a lie. I told you yesterday, they're wanting us to know and help them because they are incompetent at doing their jobs, and yet they wouldn't release it until yesterday, right before they caught him. And I mean, dear God, seriously. They lied about the shooter. They lied about the evidence. He's from St. George. He's a Mormon. He also voted for Trump, even though he's not registered to vote for Trump. He's Mormon in Utah. Not a complicated conclusion to make. And he's staying at his parents' house. And so, yeah, the dad easily flipped on him. Get out of my house, you terrorist. See, I know all about this. Right, David Todd Christofferson? Yeah, he's being framed. Bigly. He doesn't own a rifle. He doesn't go shooting. He doesn't know how to shoot. He's 22 years old. And now we're expected to believe in a magic bullet theory to have assassinated Charlie Kirk. Magic bullet. Because again, this direction, not this direction. Which means this direction, and then whoop, to go, oh my hell. Nobody bought it under Kennedy. But because of the suppression of the mainstream media coverage, who will not show the kill shot, everybody who only watches the news never knows the truth about the trajectory. Only those of us who watched the people who recorded it and uploaded it all over the internet saw the kill shot, that it came from this direction. But they're not educated enough to figure this out? As apparently only I am? And so, yeah, whatever the reason he was doing on the roof had nothing to do with shooting. But yeah, like everyone else, he ran. Well, obviously he's guilty if he runs. Well, wait a minute, so did everybody in the audience, including the single mothers and fathers who brought their daughters to watch Charlie get assassinated. Utah is concerned about children. Protecting children. And didn't I tell you? Psychologists would swoop in to prey upon the victims, to further victimize them. KSL News. Local therapists offer free support for UVU students that witnessed Charlie Kirk's death. Come to us. We'll prescribe drugs for big pharma that will give us kickbacks. So obviously they're going to say free. And then they're going to say, well, we recommend you keep coming back. How's your insurance? Gotcha. Just sickening how psychologists are all about the money with the appearance of help. It's just sickening. Sickening. And so you've got Governor Cox, who sidelines the Orem police chief, who sidelines the head of security for UVU. He takes over. Both Governor Curtis and Lee, or not governor, Senators Curtis and Lee, immediately rush and then continue to make sure their presence is known about how this is horrifying and needs to stop. Condemning the actions without knowing who done it. Rushing to protest too much. And you don't watch my channel, huh? You don't watch as I go over real church history. Because remember, it's a crime scene. Mormon church history is a crime scene. And where do Lee, Curtis, and Cox show up in the crime scene? As the ones causing it in 1838. And here they are. So everybody knows exactly what they're up to. Especially if you've been following my channel lately. Escalated from November last year. Oaks got leaked last November from comments he made in secret to new mission presidents way back on March 14th, 2020. These Danite leaders of today are stepping up to protect the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And throwing a Mormon under the bus to do it. They intentionally botched the investigation. So for the FBI, who here in Utah, Mormon, because Trump got rid of that Pakistani woman in charge. What the hell is a Pakistani woman doing in charge of the FBI in Utah? Oh my God. She's compromised to the church, who has taken in Pakistanis and putting them into slave labor to the church to become Mormon. As the women still wear the Islamic sexual abuse of their religion as Mormon. Working for the church. And so a Mormon is acting in her place to protect the church. Cox is governor to protect the church. Lee and Curtis are in the Senate to protect the church. Why? What's the church up to? Why aren't they interested in finding out who actually done it? Why are they letting the shooter go? Why are they throwing under the bus this regular Mormon who has failed to get married? Who won't leave his mommy's and daddy's home, getting married, paying the church with a job. Even though he is very smart, he's going into apprenticeship for electrician, to become an electrician. Which, if you know about the bigger picture of what's going on in Utah, there's a housing crisis. Even a month or so ago, they were reporting how there's electrical workers who are short-staffed in Utah, and so there's a need for electricians to help with the mass buildings of new homes and apartments that are necessary in Utah because of the crisis that the government caused because of the orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because they're up to something. What could that possibly be? Oh, Oaks got leaked. Oh, that's why. And so, yeah, brilliant. He sees that there's going to be a need for electricians. That it'll be fairly easy to get a job once he graduates. Brilliant mind. He's thinking about getting out of mommy and daddy's home. He's just going too slow. Not getting married, to have a huge debt when he graduates. They never did explain what the picture is on his shirt, though. Dear God. But it's confusing. They're calling him trans and fascist, and yet at the same time he was anti-trans and anti-fascist because of the writing on the ammo, which was exposed as a fraud. Oh, dear God. So yeah, it was Trump who's calling them the trans and the terrorist and the Antifa. All vilifying him as he's the patsy for the real shooter. And so then you got to figure out, okay, well, why are they assassinating Charlie Kirk? He's pro-MAGA, pro-Trump. Oh, wait, he wanted the release of the Epstein files? Oh, none of the press thought of that one, huh? Oops. And so, yes, as Cox in his own special way, so is Trump in his own special way, revealing what he's up to. Overcompensating, turning Charlie Kirk into a martyr and into a Medal of Freedom recipient, posthumously. Yep. When you see the bigger picture, when you take in all the evidence, you see the bigger picture of what's going on. Charlie Kirk was assassinated for Trump's ends. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who are going to assassinate Trump, are using Trump to get their kingdom back and then assassinate Trump, as Trump thinks that he's going to be given a pass and not be assassinated. It is sickening and disgusting to know what's going on and to warn Trump that he's being used and abused to be thrown away. There's psychology. So yes, Trump has even talked about restoring asylums in America. Do not want that. Do not want that. Don't do it. Don't do it. So on the 10th, after the shooting, an unofficial person at the Church News headquarters came out with a statement condemning the act, and I didn't fall for it. It's not the first presidency, you dumbass. You have no authority. Get out of here. The church then went silent for 2 days. In case you had noticed that I didn't do church news videos. And so, sure enough, they tried to sneak one in last night. I know this. They know I know. They do it on purpose. They know the videos that I make. They have to download them to put them in my file. And then they have to watch them all the way through. And then return and report to the corporate board, which Thursday, the day after, was their weekly meeting. And as a result of that weekly meeting, they did nothing. Nelson had his birthday on Tuesday. They celebrated it. They had their meeting. It was after the assassination, and the first presidency went silent. It's because they're dead. Shh. They're going to reveal it in 3 weeks. Spoiler alert. Just hilarious. And so yesterday, checking the church news at my regular time, so that I have time, if I have to do a video, to give the video, make the video, and upload it to YouTube before I would resume the nightly check of the news, for which YouTube is pissed that I'm not selecting the videos they want me to watch. Then they flash the camera, or they flash the screen to try to cause a seizure in me, which it doesn't cause seizures in me, you dumbasses. It's only for certain people it causes seizures. They don't care. They think it's funny. And so after closing time, right before they went home, the church news released another statement. Expecting that I wouldn't catch it until Monday. Because typically I take the weekends off because it's the weekends. They don't work on the weekends, so only emergency news would be posted. Nonetheless, I checked anyway. And sure enough, they're claiming it's a first presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints statement. No, it's not. The person was asked to do this in response to my video content, in response to my tips to the FBI that got ignored. God, Cash Patel, you need to be fired, you mentally retarded person. So yeah, I lashed out last night for how stupid he is, and asked, is this an FBI hit on Charlie Kirk? Because if not, you're mentally retarded. You're letting the real shooter get away with it. Tyler, or whatever his name is not the shooter. That's why he turned himself in. Because only the guilty don't run. Seriously, you got 2 in here? What the hell? Yeah. God. Lilith, she really did a number on me. The babysitter. So, in the context of the bigger picture, we see exactly what the church is up to. Remember, I've been talking about this lately, again, about what they did to me in 2008. Going over almost daily about D. Todd Christofferson's big reveal. And so, yes, it looks like I am right about who is in the committee. Hilarious. And who was in the committee prior to 2008. I told you, I'm an investigator. That's what I told my patriarch. I was thinking about being a private investigator, but I'm not sure. Because I knew I was going to Rick's. I knew that may be a mission. I don't know how it's going to happen. Never done it before. It was Trisha Wingate who sabotaged me, betrayed me. That better be the security. Who sent me to her bishop. If you didn't want to be my friend, you could have just told me. I was only hanging out with you because I wanted to get in with the redhead roommate. She always thought it was her. No, your roommate. Hello, redhead. You had it right when you tried to set me up with her for the one dance. But I'm shy, and apparently so is she. Nonetheless, everybody assumes things and doesn't want to communicate. And so I end up lonely. And so this is what the church is trying to sneak through, because they know I'll pick it apart and expose it, as I have been already. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints condemns horrific acts of violence worldwide by other people, not us. Especially when we pay for them. Including the recent assassination in Utah. Say the name! Say the name! We affirm our repeated calls to seek peace with death and unity with separation and segregation, despite our differences. Yeah, this is beyond hypocrisy. These are people who know what they're doing and specifically wording it this way. It's the spokesperson, by the way, who was told to write this up. It lead is not Oak's. Because Oak's would confess and leak something that he shouldn't have. Jesus Christ teaches us to love one another. Really? Is he your Lord and Master? Is he the symbol on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple? That hate is wrong. Really? And so you call it love, what you've done to me. Do I have to read the Strengthening Church Members Committee by Oakes? And that human life is sacred. And so you're taking away everybody's agency to force them to obey your higher law of Jesus? Or be socially controlled and punished? We urge all to reject violence. That's what I'm doing with you. I reject you and your violence. Oh, that's not what you mean? And instead, build understanding. You've never understood me. That's what I did the video of earlier. I'm trying to help you out with your investigation of me. There's a reason why certain theme songs are in the description below my videos. They have to know and put those in the files with the video if they're going to be thorough. And if it's from a movie, then they're going to need to go, oh, crap, we got to watch the movie. But it's rated R. You have to do it if you're going to understand. Dear God. Recognizing that we all are children of God. The Catholic said that in Bill Maher's overtime last night. The Jew looked at him kind of weird when he said that. Because children of God means something different for each and every single different religion. God. And Jews don't believe they're children of God. In the same meaning as Christians, or as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with God sperm. And thus the reason why our actions are all different. Because it's based on a different word interpretation. We must treat one another with more dignity, compassion, and respect. So violence and assassinations are a level of dignity, compassion, and respect. Editor! This is psychological manipulation to try to soften the condemnation. To try to say that, oh yeah, you need more dignity than you already have. But dignity also came from Nelson's birthday. If you forgot. Which I did the whole video on. Compassion and respect. They have never shown me respect. Never. Right, YouTube Mormon employee down in Utah County? Right, the thumbs downers? Again, this is not the meaning that normal people would interpret this as. This has a different interpretation. You need to understand the church from where they're coming from to know their interpretation. As we mourn with those who have experienced loss and care for those living in fear or conflict, well, you shouldn't have paid the Judas price, first of all. You shouldn't have paid the hitmen. We call upon people everywhere to build communities of greater kindness and love. Psychological Manipulation 101. That our current fear and conflict is a level of kindness and love. Oh my God. So yes, if you know and understand the church, being born and raised, going on the mission, going to early morning seminary, learning the Mormon lingo, learning about feelings, nothing more than feelings for testimony and physical witness. Ignoring the production of fruit. Going to the temple. Wearing the underwear. Even pre-1991. Getting married, being threatened to turn off your little factory until you get married to only a Mormon girl in the temple, and then have to keep paying for the rest of your life. To have lots and lots of Mormon children, to increase the numbers of the church. And thus why you can't be LGBTQIAPO+2S in Canada. You're not building the kingdom. You're tearing it down. Get out. Or we'll electroshock therapy you. Violence, by the way, in case you didn't know. What they did to me back in 2008 for 6 years was torture to try to murder me. Ordered and paid for by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with the newly appointed to the Strengthening Church Members Committee, David Todd Christofferson, under Thomas S. Monson. And all those 15 who all ordered and signed the Judas price for their love and respect for me. Bleep you. And I'm pissed with YouTube that I am not allowed to say the correct words unbleeped. And so this is where we transition into free speech that Bill Maher also had to discuss yesterday. He doesn't quite understand, though he does want peace, but he thinks that hate speech is protected, that burning the flag is always to be protected. No. Come on, Bill. Come on. This is the reason why there is an escalation of violence, is because they're calling their hate speech and death threats as free speech, that they need to be allowed to say it. And by being allowed under Trump, they're able to escalate to violence. But this is what Trump has been trying to do, that I've been trying to warn you that Trump is trying to do, and he keeps failing. Everybody's not giving in and causing the violent defense that Trump is hoping would be the result, so that Trump can justify being the victim and then sending in the military to destroy everybody. And then hand over the authority to the states so that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can get their kingdom back, and then Trump will be assassinated. Thank you, Trump. Die. We love you and respect you. Now you're dead. Yeah, this is exactly what's happening. This is why the assassination of Charlie Kirk. To specifically cause civil war, an escalation of violence. And it did temporarily. There was a Colorado shooting, a Florida shooting, death threats called in to the historic black colleges throughout the United States. And we expect that it'll continue to escalate until Trump tells them to stand back and stand by. Again. But I told you, Trump has not been doing that. All this year, he's been saying, do it, attack, and nobody's doing it. He pardoned the January 6ers. They want revenge. He pardoned you. What are you waiting for? He's name-calling again for the white supremacist Christian nationalists. What are you guys waiting for? Did you not believe Michael Cohen, his fixer? Trump doesn't give out ideas. He's giving out orders. Dear God. He can't just come out and say, kill him. You're supposed to understand what he means and do what he wants, or you're gonna get fired. But yeah, this is what he's doing. He's destroying the federal government, destroying the agencies, destroying the funding, destroying the economy, specifically to provoke violence. And it's not working. The church knew all this. They're in charge. Remember, Oaks got leaked. They love and respect you. And so again, Mars attacks. Hilarious. Stop. We're your friends. And They're laughing about it because of how stupid the humans are. And so, yes, this is why Trump is going overboard to make Charlie a martyr, to give him the Medal of Freedom, to incite more violence. And the violent calls went out, but then our government is not getting it. We need to de-escalate now that our side caused the violence. If it were a libtard, they'd be demanding for war. But when they do it, exactly. I've told you this tactic of theirs. They strike, they go into hiding, they lay low, let it be the new normal, then lie in wait until they plot the next attack. And so while they lay low, you have people who are calling for an end to violence. And it's the ones responsible. And so thus you see in the war against Israel this same tactic. Hamas attacks. And then they go, oh, you got to stop the violence, Israel. You got to put down your weapons. You need to leave us all. You're murdering innocent people who we put on the front lines as shields to fight you. They're innocent. They get 72 child bride virgins. Oh, dear God. And so, the First Amendment is about free speech. Not just for the citizenry, but free speech for religion, free speech for the press, free speech to peaceably assemble, free speech to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Free speech is not hate speech. Because once you speak hate, there's a target of that hate. The people who you're targeting are now afraid for their lives, liberty, and property. Oh, they don't have rights anymore. Because you've taken away their freedom to be treated equally for life, liberty, and property. Because of your hate speech, because of your death threats, because of your lies. Religion cannot lie, because it leads to holy wars. My God is pissed with you. Because you're not obeying our God's religion. The press. You can't lie. You're inciting violence. You can't just make up accusations against somebody in court, because you destroy their reputation. There's supposed to be protections in the Constitution applied in society. There's a difference between a difference of opinion of ideas, which obviously, if you're not of the same religion, you have different opinions of how religion applied in earthly existence is. You know, Mormons believe that Heavenly Father came from the planet Kolob to his 14-year-old daughter in the Roman period time, raped her, and she can't have an abortion, so she has to have the baby. Rape baby Jesus, the savior of mankind, with cuckold Joseph. Whereas Christian interpretation of the Bible, a dove raped her. She's immaculately conceived. Supernatural homoousion. There's a big difference between having a difference of opinion of ideas versus a difference of interpretation of the word. And this is where religion goes wrong. They were Jewish authors. They weren't Christian. So when Christianity got created 1700 years ago, 1 month and 13 days ago, a new interpretation of the Jewish author's words was created. You can't lie. You do not have that right in the United States of America. You can't put the 10 Commandments of Christian interpretation to be enforced in the public school system upon those who are not your religion, let alone your interpretation, which is a misinterpretation. That's the Jewish Christ, not Jesus, being talked about. Because even Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul are from Jewish authors, not Christian. Your concept of Jesus was not created until the first creed of Christianity. It never existed prior to. That was Jewish interpretation. And then you get the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and how they've made Mormons stupid. Playing you for stupid. Playing the rest of the world as stupid. That you can't read and understand what you read from the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. Oh, right, the church orders you not to read and will punish you if you dare read. Because you've got David Todd Christofferson checking the internet to make sure you don't read. And don't tell people in posts what you read. It's your feelings only that you're supposed to be sharing about how true the misinterpretation of the word is. And so over 15 million Mormons are gone. Way to go, D. Todd Christofferson. Way to drop the ball on that one. Misinterpretation is similar to lying. And with this church, I've exposed the severity of the lies that they spew. And Mormons don't even bother to check. They don't run the test. We're warned, and we all know that in the latter days there will be false prophets preaching about false Christs. This was before the creation of Christianity. And I am horrified of how this misinterpretation of misinformation is leading to these lies of hate and violence that is escalating into physical violence. And as much as Bill Maher doesn't want people fighting, he doesn't understand how it all is occurring. We must adhere to the Constitution if we're going to claim that we follow the Constitution. Because otherwise, you're an insurrectionist. You're the enemy. And if you give aid and comfort to the enemy, who lie with hate speech, with death threats, who claim that it's their freedom of speech, yeah, you're the terrorist with them. It's in the Constitution, Bill. You don't need to quote somebody else. It's in the Constitution. Insurrection. No insurrection. You can't have government office if you're an insurrectionist. And if you give aid and comfort to an insurrectionist, you too are an insurrectionist and can't hold government office. And so the 14th Amendment, Section 3, get out. Not a complicated constitution. They are words with meaning. There's not multiple interpretations. The Second Amendment is not for we the people to own guns. It's for the militia. Where's the militia? We don't have it. Well, where's the amendment that says that it's the National Guard? Oops, who dropped the ball on that one? There are checks and balances. Those who get a green card are supposed to take the test to know about that, whether we get taught in the public school system or not. And yet the press, they have no clue about checks and balances. Oh no, SCOTUS overturned the rights of women. Women no longer have rights. Oh, we're all doomed. Oh, President Biden comes out and says, oh, this is horrible. You better vote in the next election for a Democrat. Why? What did you do? Nothing. You let it happen. Why would we want you in as president when you're the one who lost our rights? You didn't fight for America. You didn't fight for women. And then Trump is going after all the others now. There's a checks and balances in the system that is not being followed. If one of the branches does something stupid, the other two are supposed to step up and put them in their place. Checks and balances. They're not independently authoritative and what they say goes. No, you have the other two to keep them in line. The president says, no, that's an insurrection act. I'm locking you all up and removing you from government. The Brazilian ex-president is now going to prison. Unbleeping believable. Unbleeping believable. So, some other stuff that's going on. To wrap this up. You don't want me to do what I'm about to do today, guys. Oh no, what are you going to do? The church knows. They know they attacked me prior to, because they know that this is the time of the year. This is the time of the year to attack Travis, because we know that he's most likely going to do this. So I'm going to do it. You forced me to. I told you not to force me to do things that you know I can do. And I'm going to use your own words. You know this. I did the video the other day. You know you're not true. You know I can expose you. You know that you are in the wrong. That this church does not belong to you. It belongs to me to give it to Mormons who want Zion. The church does not want you to have peace, safety, and refuge. They purposely have sabotaged you to murder you. And that's their love and respect for you. We love you. Die! So, Trump has to speed things up. Epstein was an unforeseen circumstance that was covered up on purpose so that he can become president and destroy the federal government, transfer authority to the states so that the church can get their kingdom back, and then assassinate Trump. Trump's going too slow. And so what he's doing is trying to get justification for war powers. He needs to incite violence in America to justify declaring war on America. And it's still not working. He requires civilian violence. And so with the Charlie Kirk assassination, yeah, that's what it was for. Oh my God. And that's why the church is vilifying him. They know the church is evil because they are being ordered to commit crimes and violence for the church. D. Todd Christofferson. Hello, Governor Cox. Hello. Need you to do me a favor, though. Need you to do me a favor. And so this Mormon boy is being sacrificed to save the church. He's not a hunter, no rifle, no shooting experience, no gun. And yet, for some reason, he's able to make that long sharpshooter shot with a magic bullet twist. Oh, dear God. Unbelievable. So, again, more AI controversies. Canada has an education book that they came out with, and oops, they made it with AI. And of course it's lying and miseducating the whole purpose for the book, and yet the people are trying to deny it as best they can. But people check the words and the references and went, where the hell are you getting this from? No, it's real. It's true. We're the ones in power. Just accept it. Don't check it. Don't run the test. Don't produce the fruit. God. And so, yes, all these calls for peace, it's all about trying to have you feel safe. That's why they send in the psychos, to have you cope and deal with it. rather than finding the person responsible and making sure they don't do it, having our justice system fixed to get justice, not cause more injustice. These are all external causations, and yet psychology is calling you mentally retarded, and you need their help with pharmaceutical drugs to make big pharma money off of human experimentations, all for feeling safe. That's why they arrested the wrong guy. To have the public feel safe now. We got him, said Cox. No, you didn't, you dumbass. And so either Cox knows that it was an assassination by another shooter, which, yes, he does, or he's extremely mentally retarded, which, yes, he could very well be. It's what's called a useful idiot. Right, Trump? Trying to save your dumbass life. Why hell? Because the need to destroy this church is more important than a dumbass president who's trying to destroy the United States only because the church ordered him to do it. Who's compromised with the Epstein case, which is getting worse and worse the more it's investigated. You don't have much time left, Trump. The UN, who caused October 7th, is now calling for a two-state with no military for the Palestinian version of the state. What I think they're hoping for is to replace Hamas with another militant organization that they can control. Because again, if I have to repeat this information to people who are just dumb Westerners who don't understand Islam, Muhammad in Saudi Arabia around 600 CE knows about Christian interpretation of the Bible, knows about the Jewish Christ, decides he's going to make his own religion and call it Islam. And so he tells the tale, lies, about going to the top of the mountain and receiving the Quran from Allah, which translated as we. You know, Elohim, as singular, not plural, but El for Allah as the Canaanite singular of God for we. Trinity, the three in one, and claims that he's the Jewish Christ. But there's Allah for the Christian Christ. His missionary efforts to convert people to Islam is by join or die. You know, the order of Nehor. And yes, harem, in which when you die in a holy war, you get an additional 72 child bride virgins. And so they've got 2 billion people in the world today. So they're scattered out into different geographical locations. That is their nationality. Arabians, for those who live in Saudi Arabia. Gazans, for those who live in Gaza. Palestinians, for those who live in Palestine. the Lebanese for those who live in Lebanon, etc., etc., etc. Each geographic location of a group of Islamists have a government. It's a dictatorship, monarchy, kingship, whatever you want to call it. There is no democracy. There is no constitutional republic. And again, they don't get it. And it's the first time I've heard him, Ben Shapiro. I've heard other people react and respond to him. I have never actually listened to him. I have no interest in listening to him. You know, it doesn't matter if he's a Jew. I'm not interested unless you say something that in the title catches my interest, and I want to see what you're talking about. He's never had anything like that for me to be interested in wanting to hear what he has to say. You know, I've had people over the decade who've said, what do you think about this person? What is your reaction? What is your response? I don't care. There's my reaction and response. He says that this is Paleo-Hebrew. He says that this is the interpretation of Scripture. Yeah, well, he's wrong. Well, did you listen to him? I don't have to. If that's the title that he's giving, if you are not lying to me, then no, he's wrong. I'm the expert. I did the research. I know the truth. I produce the fruit. And so anybody else who comes with a different seed in my face, get it out of my face. It's wrong. It will not produce the fruit that you're claiming it's going to produce. I got the correct seed to produce the correct fruit. Nobody seems to understand that. And so they have a culture, despite the nationality. The culture has been designated by them as the word Muslim. So regardless of where they are in the world, with a different nationality and a different government of leaders, even though there's a Shiite and Sunni variation in the interpretation of the Quran, it's still Islam, and they're all Muslim. Islam is religion. Muslim is culture. And each government needs a military, for which the majority of the world classifies as terrorists, because they're still doing Muhammad's conversion therapy. Join or die. And so you know of them by their outward appearance. Women are sexually, violently abused, and they wear that symbolism on their heads, the hijab. Boys don't wear it. They're the sexual abusers. And so for an Islamic woman to be in denial of this, to seek asylum because she's being sexually abused, and then continue to wear the hijab, claiming it's her religion, for which she claimed she needs asylum for. Yeah, she's a sleeper cell. She is in the different country of Westerners for the sole purpose, for the agenda, to raise up Islam in that country for a certain day on October 7th when Hamas would strike for their holy war. And I told you, you don't mess with Israel. And I told you, you didn't want to believe. You don't mess with them. And so, yeah, it's also sad that the guy fell for it. He should have laid low until Monday. But again, he's innocent. He didn't do it. He doesn't understand what he's being set up for. And so now he will never see a judge until Monday. He has to, because it's gone worldwide. People are going to demand that they witness the trial and have it all come out and expose him and Mormonisms for the evil they are. And this is what also Cox is also on the front lines for. To try to claim that he's not a real Mormon. He's a rogue. We disown him. Because all the world already blames Mormons. It's all over the chat groups. Everybody knows. It's too late, Cox. You failed. You're not fooling anybody. Mormons are now about to be targets of assassination again, just like the Danites. Oh, wait, Travis, didn't you do videos on this recently? Again? Yeah. That's why the church did what they did and it went silent for the 2 days after that other dumbass comments. And you notice that my camera hasn't been freezing for a long time now. But I'm still showing you what YouTube's still doing to me. And some of the search problems that I'm having to deal with. Dear God. So, yeah. Everybody wants to be on camera and lie about what happened. Oh yeah, I saw it. Oh, his head got blown clear off. Oh, it was horrible. Blood was everywhere. My friend said that he was going to murder people and blow up buildings. Yeah, I was sitting in class with him one time, and yeah, oh wow, he really hates Charlie. People are lying to throw him under the bus. That is not evidence. It's not how you run a court. And yet, they don't care. And so, pay attention. I'm deeply concerned for him because he's going to have a public defender, and in Utah they suck. They want him destroyed. He's going to need some big-time person who realizes the press coverage that this is going to be like, you know, the OJ trial, who will do this pro bono to step in to defend him, who will say, well, the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. That's the only way he's going to get saved. And then people are going to get pissed, and then they're going to say, well, if he didn't do it, we all think he did because the news said so, and Cox said so, and Kash Patel said so. Because the Pakistani woman was fired. I am the one and only. Can't Can't take that away from me. There you go, D. Todd Christofferson. Check on that research. Because that's now the theme song in the description below. Where do I put this? Where do I put it? I am the one and only. Can't take that away from me. I don't think that's rated R, though there is that scene. Are you brave enough to make the sacrifice? Well, let's check and see what it's rated. I think it's PG-13. But, you know, I don't know. See, I went to Rick's college, where the Mormon boys working in the theater would watch the film strip and then cut out and paste the film back together to show PG-13 movies, or sometimes even R-rated movies, if it was just that one scene or that one word. So it could be shown at the theater. Which, if Hollywood knew, they would have sued Ricks for. But nonetheless, I'm not getting frozen yet, am I? No, still not getting frozen. Still not getting frozen. So I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to see it in the theme song in the description below. Google is going slow this morning. Yeah, PG-13, 1991. Comedy romance, a chick flick. Yeah. Is it Julie Warner? Because I don't think it. No, it's not Bridget. Yeah, she's no. Yeah, no, it's Julie Warner. What about the Pakistani? I'm cured.